Hello, I'm Chithra, PGT English at Silver Hills Public School, KOZHIKODE. This class is on notice writing, a topic under Advanced Writing Skills, Class 12, English Code. Now, what about notices? What is the purpose of writing one? We have come across any number of notices, haven't we? Why are notices written? Notices are written to impart information or to convey information or to give information, usually about an event, to a large group of people. Notices are written to give information, basically to give information to a group of people. A group of people like, for example, the members of an organization, the students of a school, the participants of an event, or even the general public. Now, before we go into the details of notice writing, I would just like to remind class 12 students of the CBSE stream that whenever you're attempting a writing task in an examination, see to it that you look at things from an exam point of view. Now, in our daily life, every day we read notices or advertisements, reports, articles in print or electronic media. But when you're attempting a writing task in an exam, you should be looking at things from the format, content and expression point of view. Yes, format, content and expression are the key elements or the key players when it comes to any writing task. Now, notices fall into the category of short compositions. And I tell my students that notices can again be classified quite roughly into school-based notices and general notices. Now, we'll be discussing both in this class, although there is no much difference with regard to format and expression. Now, school-based notices, most of the notice questions are related to school activities or events in school and so on. You and I, student and teacher, we need no introduction to activities happening in school. We know exactly what happens in schools because we spend quality time in school. Now, school activities can again be further classified into, say, academic activities like, say, upcoming competitions, exams or sessions with eminent personalities and so on. Cultural activities like, again, say, competition, singing, dancing, debate, elocution, speeches, etc., observance of days, and so on. And again, sports-related activities, matches, inter-class, inter-school, inter-house matches, competitions, annual sports meets, and so on. I'm talking about the post-pandemic school life. We know that because of the pandemic, all our activities are suspended, put on hold. Otherwise, generally speaking, the school is a beehive of activities. And again, coming back to the notice, most of the notice questions are school-based. What I have here is a typical question, again school-based. You are Kiran or Kirti, the sports captain of Sunrise Global School, Pune. Draft a notice to invite the budding cricketers of your school to attend trials for selection to school teams. That's the question. I also have a suggested answer here. Now, before that, the question. The question, as you can see, gives all relevant details for writing the answer. A part of the answer very conveniently lies in the question itself, like the name of the school, the name of the writer, and the purpose of writing the notice. Now, we will discuss the features of notice writing based on this suggested answer to question number 1. Again, with format, content, and expression as the key elements. First, the format part of the answer or the format part of any notice. The notice begins with the name of the issuing authority, place. Here, Sunrise Global School, Pune, which is the name of the issuing authority, place. Secondly, NOTICE, the word notice in capital letters, and the word has to be underlined. Thirdly, the title of the notice based on the question. It has to be a very brief title and factual. Cricket trials here. That's trials for selection. Finally, the date on the left hand side, 22 March 2000, XX here, it can be 2020 or 2021. Now, the date is written in words. There is a flexibility with regard to the rule for writing the date. The date, as you can see here, I have written it beneath the title on the left hand side. The date can also be written above the title but on the left hand side. The name of the issuing authority, place, NOTICE, and the title of the notice are centrally placed, centrally aligned. And with regard to the case, we can see that, or I have already told you, only notice is mandatorily to be written in capital letters. With regard to the name of the issuing authority and the title, it is not mandatory to use capital letters. Finally, how do you close the notice? The name of the writer and the designation. The name of the writer here, Kiran or Kirti, and designation within brackets. The notice is placed in a box. The box is also a part of the format. So, this sums up the format part of writing a notice. The name of the issuing authority, place, NOTICE in bold, it has to be underlined. The title of the notice, that again depending on the question. The date always in words on the left hand side, either above or beneath the title. You close the notice with the name of the writer. There is no complimentary clause, there is no yours faithfully or anything, as you might have noticed. The name of the writer and the designation within brackets. The notice is placed in a box. So much about the format part of writing a notice. Now to the content part. This is how the content reads here. This is to invite the budding cricketers of classes 9 to 12 to the trials that will be held in the school ground on 25 March from 2 p.m. onwards. Aspirants who wish to be selected to the school teams should participate in the trials without fail. All participants are expected to bring their cricket gear. Selection will be based on the overall performance. That is the content part of this answer. So, what have you noticed about the content? It is brief, yes, it's brief, but very precise and clear. Those are the key features of the content part of a notice. Brief, precise and clear. You cannot compromise on clarity because, as you can see, what kind of a communication is it? It's not a personal one-to-one communication. So, everything should be clearly stated, or the content should be clearly stated. Secondly, you notice that all the relevant information is provided, especially because it's an event, venue, date and time clearly given. The venue is the school ground, date is 25 March and time 2 p.m. onwards. So, venue, date and time are important or parts of the information that you are giving. Finally, the participants are reminded to bring the cricket gear and also the selection procedure, something more about the selection procedure. So, what I am trying to say is that the notice should give all relevant information. Thirdly, you might have observed that the notice is written in third person. The content to be written in third person, strictly to be written in third person. And finally, it follows a word limit of 50 words. The notice follows a word limit of 50 words. The third element of notice writing, as I told you, is the expression part. Now, what about the expression? Expression involves the correct use of language and also the relevant choice of words. There should not be any spelling or grammatical errors. That again goes without saying because it's a language paper, totally without errors, language errors. So, expression relates to the overall organization and the relevance of the content, with special emphasis on grammatic accuracy and fluency. Now, what about the overall organization? The organization of the content to be in the sequential order. That is the first things to be stated first. And as I told you, accuracy and fluency with regard to grammar. It should be written without any language spelling errors. So this sums up our discussion of the notice related to schools or school-based activities or events, and the key features are the format, the content and the expression of the notice. The notice is placed in a box. Now, you might have noticed that the content here is a single paragraph. It is purely descriptive, a single paragraph. Now, there is another way, another manner in which you can present your content. How is that? This is an answer to the same question where the content is presented in a different manner. The format is of course the same. In the content part, you might have noticed that the key elements, venue, date and time, are given in the form of points. But there are sentences, complete sentences, grammatically correct sentences as well. There are 2 sentences by way of introduction and 2 sentences as conclusion. The school is holding trials for selection to the school cricket team. All budding cricketers are requested to participate without fail. The introduction to the notice, the introductory sentences. Then date, time and venue are given as points towards the middle of the notice. It's centrally aligned. Date 25 March, time 2 p.m. onwards, venue, school ground. And the notice concludes again with complete sentences. Participants are requested to report on time and to bring their cricket gear. Selection will be based on overall performance. Format is the same as I have told you. This is another way of presenting your content. This is also fully correct, fully allowed. Now moving on, question number 2 comes under the category of a general notice. It's not a school-based notice. This is the question. You are Naveen or Navya, the Secretary of Akash Housing Society, Kanpur. Draft a notice to inform the residents that the second installment of maintenance charge falls due on 31 March. It's a notice that is to be forwarded to the residents of Akash Housing Society, Kanpur. This is a suggested answer to this question. The format is the same. The name of the issuing authority, comma, place. Here, Akash Housing Society, Kanpur. The name of the issuing authority, comma, place. Secondly, notice, N-O-T-I-C-E in bold, which is underlined. N-O-T-I-C-E is written in capital letters and it has to be underlined. And thirdly, the title of the notice, again, which I told you is based, purely based on the question. Here, maintenance charge. The date in words towards the left side, either beneath or above the title. The content here in a single paragraph. And how do you close the notice? Name of the writer, Navya, and the designation within brackets, secretary within brackets. The content part again follows all the rules. It is brief, it is precise and it is very clear. All the relevant details are given. This notice is issued to inform the residents that the second installment of maintenance charge falls due on 31 March. The date is clearly specified. This amounts to a total of rupees 5,000. The amount is specified and includes that of emergency exits, play areas and elevators. The amount is given again with specific details. All are requested to pay the amount at the earliest to avoid fines. The residents are requested to pay at the earliest. They are also reminded of a fine for late payment. So here the content covers all areas. It gives all relevant information. It is brief, precise, and it is clear. It is written in third person and it is of 50 words, around 50 words. The expression, as I told you, the overall organization, that is first things first, informing the residents of the maintenance charge that falls due on 31 March, and then the features of the maintenance charge. So it is written in a logical sequential order following grammatic accuracy and fluency. So this is the second example of a notice. So for easy recall for students, it is better to recall it in this manner, to study it in this manner, a school related notice. School related notice need not always be about events. There are general categories like, for example, lost and found, and so on. So these are the two examples that are provided in this class to discuss notices. Before summing up, I would again like to remind you that notice falls under advanced writing skills, English core, class 12, the CBSE stream. And please keep in mind that I was taking into consideration only this academic year, that is the current academic year 2020-21, while discussing notices. This year we know that a lot of changes have set in, again thanks to the pandemic. The question paper pattern has changed. So this question is the first question in part B, the English core paper. Now to the marking scheme of the notice question. The notice question carries 3 marks this year. Again, the current academic year, that is 2020-21, the question carries 3 marks, 1 mark for format, 1 mark for content, and 1 mark for expression. And students, please be assured that if you follow all these rules discussed and if you write a perfect notice, you will get full 3 marks, 3 on 3 for this question. Hope this class was useful to you. Thank you so much for watching this video.